All right, we're trying this again, having some technical difficulties, but I wanted to also do problem 6 and problem 8 from exercise 1C, which is on page 26, 27, if you're following along in the book. So exercise 6 tells us that the first term of a sequence is 9, and the fifth term of the sequence is 16. So what I know is that if you take the first term and you keep multiplying it by r, you get to the second term, third term, fourth term, fifth term. Each time you multiply by r gets you one more term. And so to substitute what I know, that's 9, and then I have 4 copies of r. So 9r to the fourth equals 16. And then I can solve for r by dividing by 9, and then by taking the fourth root. And when it's an even power, you get a positive and a negative result. So we have plus or minus here, the fourth root, 16 over 9. Then you can substitute that back in because the question asks you to say what the seventh term is. So the seventh term, G7, is going to be the first term times r to the sixth. So I'll take that plus or minus fourth root of 16 over 9 and raise that to the sixth power. Because it's an even power, cancels out the plus or the minus, and the fourth root and the sixth power can be rewritten like this, as 16 over 9 to the 6 fourths. That reduces also down to the 3 halves, which is the same as taking the square root and then raising that to the third power. So I have 9 times 4 thirds raised to the third power. That means I've got 9 times 64 over 27. And you can reduce that down to, not 9, 64 over 3, because 9 goes into 27 3 times. And the nice thing about this calculation is that it didn't matter if I used the positive or the negative result, because it was raised to an even power, so the seventh term is the same, no matter what the r is. If the question asks us about like the eighth term, then we'd have two different answers. One would be a positive and the other would be a negative. So that's question 6. Question 8 is sort of similar idea. Tells us that the numbers a minus 1, a plus 1, and a minus 2 are fourth, fifth, and sixth terms of a sequence. So I'm just going to write it G4 is a minus 1, G5 is a plus 1, G6 is a minus 2. And we're going to look at ratio, find the common ratio on the first term. So that means that I know that a minus 1 times r is a plus 1. And very similarly, a plus 1 times r is a minus 2. You could also kind of skip that step there and just go ahead and solve for r, because r is always the next term divided by the previous term. So now it's going to start crapping out on me. Okay, so we got a plus 1. This is bad. Why is this not working? A plus 1 over a minus 1. And then over here, I've got a minus 2 over a plus 1. Okay. Let's see if we can just muscle through this. I don't know why it's being challenging. A minus 2. Okay. I'll try to troubleshoot this. So by cross multiplying, I can get, let's see if it'll work with me. A squared plus 2a plus 1 equals a squared minus 3a plus 2. Okay. Then if I get all the a's on the left side, I'll have 5a, and then subtracting a squared and subtracting 1, means 5a equals 1. So a equals 1/5. Then we can use that to solve for r. So if I want, I could change that to a decimal, or I can leave it as a fraction. It's really up to your personal preference. I'll just do a decimal today. So if I make r a plus 1, that'd be 1.2 over 0.8. Is that a negative 0.8? 1.2 over negative 0.8. I can double check with the other r value. So that becomes negative 1.8 over 1.2. And those both look like 1.5 to me. So you can use a calculator if you're not able to do that in your head. That's okay. So negative 1.5 is the r value. And we want to find the first term. So we know that the first term times r to the third is going to equal the fourth term. And the fourth term is a minus 1. Remember, that was from our original assumption. So that's going to be 0.2 minus 1 is negative 0.8. And so then G1 just equals, I'm not going to actually simplify this because you can grab a calculator and just figure out what it comes out to be. Negative 0.8 over negative 1.5 cubed. I guess we could just cancel out the negatives there, and that's the first term. So sorry about the technical difficulties. I'll try to see if there's something going wrong with my computer or my stylus. But please comment if there's anything that was confusing, and let me know if there are any other questions I can do for you.